Chapter 1. The Empire Strikes First. The first flash of light tore across the sky before anyone could react. Orbital bombardments rained down on Earth's major cities, each explosion measured, precise, and devastating. Skyscrapers crumbled like sandcastles, highways were torn asunder in molten streaks, satellite arrays disintegrated in bursts of fire. Across every continent, alarms blared, sirens shrieked, and millions of voices cried out in disbelief. Admiral Cale Doran stood on the bridge of Vigilant, Earth's flagship, his eyes scanning the incoming feed. Smoke, fire, and chaos filled every display, but his voice remained calm. Status report. Lieutenant Jaron Holt tapped furiously at his console. Multiple cities impacted, Admiral. Orbital strike patterns match. No, exceed Empire-class bombardments. They're testing us and punishing us. Cale's gaze hardened. They believe we'll falter. They believe we're just another primitive species. They're wrong. Below, Commander Celine Voss coordinated evacuation protocols. Refugee convoys moved with military precision, but even her years of experience couldn't mask the terror on the faces of those fleeing the burning cities. "We'll get them to the safe zones," she said into the calm, her tone steady despite the chaos. "We have to." But the Empire had underestimated humanity in one crucial way: preparation. For decades, Earth had built weapons and fleets in secret, anticipating the exact moment when survival would demand it. Titan-class dreadnoughts, hidden in deep orbit, stealth frigates concealed in asteroid belts, and AI combat drones lay dormant, waiting for the spark that would ignite their activation. A second volley struck a spaceport, reducing dozens of parked starships to molten wreckage. Civilian shuttles screamed across the sky, some caught in the blasts, others desperately attempting to escape. Emergency shelters lit up across continents, but nothing could fully shield humanity from the Empire's wrath. Cale Doran's voice cut through the panic like steel. "Activate countermeasures. Bring the fleet online. This ends tonight." Lieutenant Holt hesitated. "Admiral, they've already destroyed 3 orbital defense platforms." They made a mistake," Cale interrupted. "They assumed we'd run. They assumed we'd surrender. We never surrender." On the planet's surface, Voss coordinated planetary defenses. Orbital cannons powered up, hidden turrets emerged from mountain ranges, and automated defense drones swarmed the skies. The humans weren't just surviving, they were preparing to fight back. Across the Empire's comm channels, a single message repeated over and over, the Empire commanders unaware it would echo for decades. "Earth does not fear. Earth does not falter. Earth remembers." The first human counterattack was subtle but deadly. Stealth frigates emerged from the shadows of distant asteroid belts, intercepting enemy strike craft. Railgun volleys tore through Empire corvettes, their shields collapsing under precise fire. Orbital bombardments targeted only military installations, sparing civilians but obliterating enemy forces. Admiral Cale observed the results on the holomap. Red dots, Empire ships, flickered and vanished one by one. His voice was calm, even as the battle raged around him. "They believe they are gods. Let's show them humans can become gods when cornered." As night fell over the battered cities, a single thought echoed across every command bridge, every control center, every human heart. The Galactic Empire had attacked Earth. They had shown no mercy, and humanity would respond with fire, fury, and precision the galaxy had never seen before. The sky above Earth was still streaked with smoke when the orders came. From hidden orbital stations to deep-sea command bunkers, humanity activated weapons and fleets that the Galactic Empire assumed were myth. Titan-class dreadnoughts, dormant for decades, rotated slowly from their camouflaged positions in distant orbit. Stealth frigates slipped silently through asteroid belts, undetected by the Empire's sensors. AI combat drones, compact and lethal, hummed to life in orbital bays, awaiting deployment. Admiral Cale Doran stood on the bridge of Vigilant, his hands resting lightly on the command rail. His voice carried across the fleet comms with cold precision. All units, move to defensive coordinate. Intercept enemy fleets before they reach Earth's atmosphere. Civilian sectors must be protected. Engage with maximum efficiency, minimal collateral. Lieutenant Jaron Holt's fingers flew across his console. Admiral, sensors detect enemy reinforcements approaching from Sector Theta. They're expecting a crippled planet, not a prepared one. Kale's lips tightened. Then let's exceed their expectations. On the surface, Commander Celine Voss coordinated planetary defenses. Automated turrets extended from mountains, railguns from underground silos powered up, and shield generators cast protective domes over major population centers. Emergency convoys were rerouted under escort by human strike forces, while evacuation shuttles launched toward nearby safe colonies. Every citizen who could be protected was. Humanity would not sacrifice its own without reason. From hidden outposts, reconnaissance frigates scanned the enemy fleets, analyzing weapon types, armor configurations, and flight patterns. The Empire had assumed humans would panic. They had assumed we would scatter. They were wrong. In the orbital darkness, stealth frigates flanked incoming Imperial corvettes, their railguns cutting precise swaths through enemy formations. Swarms of AI drones detached from carriers, moving like coordinated predatory clouds, neutralizing fighters before they could reach human vessels. For every human ship, multiple Empire vessels fell, or were forced to retreat. Kale's holomap displayed the battle unfolding. Red blips, Empire ships, flickered, exploded, or vanished entirely as human strategy anticipated every maneuver. Focus on command vessels first, Kale ordered. Once they fall, the rest will crumble. On one isolated colony, orbital cannons fired silently but devastatingly. They struck enemy landing parties before they could disembark, leaving military installations destroyed while civilian areas remained untouched. People below watched, terrified and awed, as the unseen fleet protected them with surgical precision. In the Empire's command centers, panic spread. Orders conflicted. Ships tried to retreat, but every warp corridor, every escape vector had been anticipated. Communications jammed. Confidence shattered. The galaxy's most powerful military had underestimated humanity, and humans thrived on exactly that kind of miscalculation. From a hidden orbital station, Admiral Kale's voice echoed over all frequencies. The Empire believes they can crush us because they have power. But power is nothing without discipline, foresight, and courage. Let them learn the cost of underestimating Earth. As night deepened over a battered but unbroken planet, humanity's hidden forces continued to move, strike, and defend. Ships slid from shadowed positions to strategic locations. AI drones neutralized threats before the Empire even realized they existed. Titan-class warships bristled with weapons, waiting for the perfect moment to end the attack entirely. The Empire's first salvo had been merciless. Humanity's response, however, would be decisive, precise, and unrelenting. And as Admiral Kale observed the incoming fleets, his calm voice cut through the tension. Prepare for counteroffensive. Humanity does not cower. Humanity does not surrender. Humanity strikes back and the galaxy will feel it. The first human salvo tore across the darkness of space like a blade of judgment. Stealth frigates, barely visible against the backdrop of distant stars, struck with uncanny precision. Railguns fired from hidden orbital positions, lancing through Empire corvettes and destroying shields in bursts of brilliant blue-white light. The Empire had expected chaos and panic from humans, they expected desperation, but what they encountered was strategy honed over decades, patience refined like a weapon itself. Admiral Kale Doran's fingers hovered over the hollow controls aboard Vigilant. His calm voice echoed across the fleet comms. Target forward command vessels. Disable propulsion first, weapons second. Avoid civilian zones. Efficiency over rage. Lieutenant Jaron Holt watched the holomap, awed by the execution. "Admiral, they're falling apart. Their formations, their discipline, it's collapsing under our precision." Cale didn't smile. "Good. Let's keep it that way." The Empire's fleet was imposing. Sleek dreadnoughts bristling with energy cannons, carriers launching waves of strike craft, but every tactic they employed had been predicted. Humans struck at weak points with calculated force, exploiting gaps and anticipating maneuvers the aliens had assumed impossible to foresee. Every salvo had a purpose, every strike a logic the Empire could not comprehend. From asteroid belts, hidden human ships emerged like phantoms. Titan-class dreadnoughts rotated slowly, massive weapons coming online, bristling with destructive intent. Swarms of AI drones detached from their carriers, moving with lethal choreography, cutting down enemy fighters with surgical precision. Explosions flared across the enemy fleet as one by one, capital ships went dark. On the planetary surface, orbital cannons fired selectively, vaporizing Imperial strike teams before they could touch the soil. Civilians cheered, tears of relief and awe in their eyes, as humanity's hidden power revealed itself. The Empire had assumed humans would surrender, would panic, would beg for mercy. They were wrong. Every move of humanity's fleet carried purpose, discipline, and deadly accuracy. Commander Celine Voss watched from Earth's central command hub as the first Imperial dreadnought exploded in a cascade of fire and debris. Her voice was steady, though her heart raced. "They're not gods. They're just arrogant. And we are prepared." A surviving Empire warship attempted to regroup, hurling volleys of plasma at human vessels. Each shot was intercepted, redirected, or shredded by point defense lasers. Stealth frigates struck from blind angles, striking vital engines, collapsing shield arrays, and forcing the alien crews into panic. Communication channels filled with conflicting orders, cries of confusion and alarm. The mighty Empire had never faced a force this precise, this disciplined, and this fearless. Admiral Cale's voice cut through the chaos. "Focus on command ship. Once the leaders fall, the fleet will crumble. Predict, anticipate, strike." On the fringes of the battlefield, exosuited boarding teams launched from orbital pod. They descended upon crippled ships, moving silently, disabling power cores, capturing intelligence, and leaving no chance of repair. AI drones swept corridors, neutralizing anyone capable of regrouping. The Empire had underestimated humanity in every dimension: strength, strategy, and resolve. Lieutenant Holt whispered, almost to himself, "It's beautiful and terrifying." Cale's gaze remained fixed on the holomap. This is what humans do when cornered. When we choose to protect what is ours. Let the galaxy watch and learn. The Empire will never forget this day. Across the stars, the first wave of human fury had landed. And the galaxy, for the first time, began to understand a terrifying truth. Humanity did not strike blindly, but when it struck, nothing could stand in its way. The galaxy held its breath as humanity revealed the full scope of its hidden might. From the shadows of asteroid belts and distant orbital stations, Titan-class dreadnoughts emerged, massive and imposing, their weapons bristling like a forest of steel and fire. Stealth frigates slipped into the flanks of the Empire's fleet, launching swarms of AI combat drones that moved with lethal choreography. Humanity's counterattack had escalated from precision strikes to total domination. Admiral Cale Doran stood on the bridge of Vigilant, his eyes calm but piercing as holomaps displayed the collapsing enemy formations. "Cut off all exits," he ordered. "Seal their escape routes. Focus on command vessels first. Once they fall, the rest will crumble." The Empire's fleets scrambled, attempting evasive maneuvers, but the humans had anticipated every retreat vector, every warp corridor. Fast strike craft intercepted fleeing ships, targeting engines, weapons arrays, and shields with surgical efficiency. Explosions flared across the battlefield as Titan-class railguns fired in synchronized volleys. Dreadnoughts collided with capital ships in controlled assaults designed to disable rather than destroy civilians on nearby colonies. Every shot, every movement was calculated. Chaos was reserved only for the enemy. On the surface of a besieged colony, orbital cannons struck with terrifying precision, neutralizing Imperial ground forces before they could land. Smoke rose in plumes from destroyed drop pods, and colonists watched in awe as humanity defended its own with ruthless efficiency. Exosuited boarding teams descended onto crippled Kryvan vessels, moving silently through corridors. AI drones swept the decks, neutralizing any remaining resistance. Enemy crews that had once boasted superiority were now trapped, powerless, and awed by human strategy. The flagship Dreadtalon convulsed under simultaneous bombardments from multiple Titan-class dreadnought. Alarms blared as officers shouted contradictory orders, but human tactics were faster, sharper, unstoppable. Every human ship operated in perfect harmony, every drone acting as an extension of a single mind, a single will: protect humanity, annihilate the threat. Lieutenant Jaron Holt observed the devastation through his viewport. "It's beautiful and terrifying," he whispered. Kale's voice was calm, unwavering. "This is humanity's choice, when we are cornered, when our own are threatened. Let the galaxy watch. Let them learn. The Empire will remember this day for generations." As the last Empire warships were disabled or forced to retreat, human fleets regrouped in disciplined formation. Debris from shattered ships drifted through the void like silent monuments to human ingenuity and resolve. Across colonies and orbital stations, humanity's message was clear: we strike with precision, with patience, and with the full weight of our might. The surviving Imperial commanders attempted to flee with damaged ships, but reports would soon follow them across the galaxy. Earth was no longer a minor player. Earth had become a force to be feared, calculated, and respected. On the bridge of Vigilant, Kale allowed himself a rare moment of satisfaction. "The Empire underestimated us," he said quietly. "They assumed obedience meant weakness. Humanity has shown them their mistake." From hidden orbital stations to repaired colonies, the galaxy witnessed a single truth emerge. Humanity does not strike recklessly, but when it strikes, it is unstoppable. Precision, patience, and overwhelming strategy were humanity's weapons, and the Empire had tasted all three. And now, the remnants of the once proud fleet limped away into the darkness, carrying with them the undeniable lesson: underestimate Earth, and you will face a storm designed with perfect intent. Humanity had crushed the Empire, but more importantly, it had sent a message that would echo across the stars for centuries: we protect our own. We strike with purpose. And we never, ever forget. The remnants of the Empire's fleet drifted through the void, shattered and leaderless. Smoke and flickering energy arcs trailed their crippled vessels, while human ships maintained a perfect formation, surrounding and containing the enemy with quiet, unstoppable efficiency. Admiral Cale Doran stood on the bridge of Vigilant, eyes scanning the holomap. The Empire had underestimated humanity, assuming obedience equaled weakness. They had assumed compliance would save them from consequence. They were wrong. Lieutenant Jaron Holt whispered beside him. "They actually thought they could challenge us." Cale's gaze lingered on the surviving enemy vessels, their crews exhausted, their pride broken. "They thought humanity would obey the laws of others," he said slowly. "They thought we would not fight. Let them carry this lesson to the stars." From Earth, Ambassador Celine Voss activated a sector-wide broadcast, transmitting the message across every frequency, to every listening vessel, and into every colony. "To all who doubt humanity, we were forbidden from war. We obeyed your laws. But do not mistake obedience for weakness. We protect our own. We plan. We wait. And when the time comes, we act. This is the cost of underestimating Earth. Let it be known across the galaxy. Humanity does not forgive. Humanity does not forget. Humanity prevails." Across colonies and orbital stations, Humans worked swiftly to stabilize infrastructure, rescue civilians, and secure intelligence from disabled Empire vessels. Soldiers offered reassurance, engineers repaired stations, exosuited teams swept debris and ensured no threat remained. Humanity's victory was not only brutal, it was precise, calculated, and measured. The Empire's survivors carried tales of human strategy, patience, and ruthlessness. Across sectors, whispers began to spread. Earth did not strike blindly. Earth struck with purpose, precision, and overwhelming force. Earth protected its own, and anyone foolish enough to challenge it would face annihilation. Kale's fingers hovered over the controls as he watched the last enemy vessels escape into the void. A rare, calm smile formed beneath his helmet. "The galaxy now knows," he said quietly. "And they will remember." In the silence of deep space, the hidden fleet regrouped. Titan-class dreadnoughts rotated slowly, weapons still online. Stealth frigates returned to concealed orbits, and AI drones powered down, awaiting their next deployment. Humanity had proven that even a species forbidden from war could rise, dominate, and teach the cosmos a lesson it would never forget. Somewhere in the distant reaches of the galaxy, the stars seemed to shine a little brighter, as if acknowledging a force that no one could ignore. Humanity had chosen its path, not through rash aggression but through preparation, intelligence, and unyielding resolve. And the galaxy had no choice but to respect it. The Empire's arrogance had been shattered, their fleets decimated, their pride humiliated, and for every planet that had doubted Earth, for every sector that had scoffed at human potential, a clear message now remained. Humanity does not strike because it must. Humanity strikes because it chooses to protect what is its own. And when provoked, Earth becomes a snare that ends its enemies. Admiral Kale turned to Lieutenant Holt, his expression resolute. "This is just the beginning. Let them learn. The era of underestimating humanity is over. Forever." From the ashes of devastation to the brilliance of victory, humanity had sent its final, unmistakable message. The galaxy would never underestimate Earth again. And somewhere, across the void, distant stars bore witness to the rise of a species the cosmos would never forget.